back on the radio waves for Falmouth Commodores baseball, coming from Brewster. Ready to bring you this broadcast on the radio from Stony Brook Field. The Falmouth Commodores on the road tonight against the Whitecaps of Brewster. Matt Venezia, Zach Surdenik, and Destiny Sanchez have it for you here. We're excited after an off day and a canceled game the day before to get going. Now, Destiny, there are many new faces for the Doors here today. Why don't you give us a rundown of what to expect?
Thanks, Matt. One of the aspects of the Cape League, especially in the beginning stages, is how the roster changes and evolves as players get released and activated. And the shuffle began over the day off as 4 Commodores players have been released, including Austin Kelly, outfielders Harrison Povey, Mike Handall, and Scott Bandora. The Doors now have 11 new activations, which we'll see some action here today at Stony Brook Field, and it'll be interesting to see how these guys play in this new roster.
Absolutely. We got to meet some of them during batting practice. So it's good to see some of the new faces or jersey numbers they're wearing. Let's let you know who's coming up. Joe Redfield will lead it off for the Commodores today out of Sam Houston. Kyle DeBarge right behind him, another new name. He'll be at third base out of Ragin' Cajuns. Charlie Condon, same spot in the 3-hole at first base. Chase Lavalette out of Texas A&M will be in left field. Ross Highfield behind the plate, the freshman from Mississippi State. Nate Humphreys, another new name. He'll be in right. Christian Martin, the typical second baseman. He's down a bit in the order. Gavin Keelan still at short. Tab Tracy will be DHing instead of out in center field. And that's 1 through 9 for Jeff Trundy and the new look Commodores.
Looks really good, and you've got a lot of power bats in there. That 3-4-5 is nasty with Charlie Condon, Jace Lavalette, and Ross Highfield. Those guys can hit the ball a very long way, but I love what I've seen from Joe Redfield at the top of the order. He was outstanding at Sam Houston State, hit .402 for the Bearcats this year. Can really get on, can really run as well. Had himself a really solid season for Sam Houston State. 15 stolen bags, and on-base percentage up around 500. That's exactly what you want from him.
So now it'll be the Doors coming up to bat as a visiting team in the top half of the first inning. Joe Redfield is the first one for Falmouth here today. Out of Sam Houston, as we talked about a second ago. Had a fantastic year this year, 672 slugger, drove in 52 runs, just shy of 400 on the average. And he rocks number 32 in the black uniforms with the gray pants for the Commodores. He steps in the left-handed batter's box up against Javen Pimental. The left-hander will go for the Whitecaps, who currently lead the top of the East Division. Tough matchup for the Commodores in this cross-divisional matchup. And on the first pitch, taking a fastball all the way at 5:01 p.m., it's in there for a strike.
Pimental's got good stuff from that left side. 3-pitch mix, fastball, curveball, changeup. Big sweeper on that breaking ball.
From the wind, the pitch, thinking about it, it's off the plate. Looked like another fast one from Pimental. Misses for a ball.
Yeah, it doesn't throw the fastball too hard, but has a lot of movement to it from that left arm of Pimental. The fastball 89-91, as well as working in that curveball in the high 70s and the changeup in the low 80s.
Redfield staggering a bit on the mound. He gets the call. Now he goes from the wind and the pitch. Redfield thought about it, and it actually nicked him a little bit. Got hit by the pitch on the 1-1, and it's a leadoff base runner to begin the ball game for the Doors.
And that's what you love to see from your leadoff hitter. Just find a way on base. Redfield does just that. Hasn't been here long, and he's already taken some beatings at the top of the order, but he'll take it.
Defensively, the home team, Brewster Whitecaps, have Tibbs, Forbes, and Ferrer left to right out in the outfield. White's at third base, Green Austin up the middle, and Tibbetts over at first base. It's Dylan Leach behind the plate. And Javen Pimental will be the one slinging them for now, as he now looks on against Kyle DeBarge. The first pitch to the new Commodores third baseman in there for a strike.
4 innings, 2 runs allowed for Pimental on opening night in that win for Brewster.
A great start to the year for Brewster to this point. We mentioned them being at the top of the division. The pitch here chopped and foul by DeBarge. He's quickly behind it, 0-2.
A couple of all-conference appearances for Kyle DeBarge in his 2 seasons at Louisiana, playing down in the Sun Belt. Ragin' Cajuns made themselves a good run, got into the tournament as an at-large team this year.
They got a good program over there.
That they do.
Contending with another good team in Louisiana. LSU, ring a bell? The 0-2. This one's chopped up the middle. It's going to be a routine 6 4. They only get the 1, though, as the toss was behind Austin. Rule to fielder's choice, and DeBarge will take over at first base with Redfield going back to the dugout. 1 away for the Doors.
Yeah, it was not a great toss there at all. Up the middle, kind of flipped it up in the air, went really high. And a nice job to stay on the bag and get the 1 out. Now Charlie Condon steps up.
That's right. It is Condon stepping into the box for the Commodores. A couple nights ago, the big swing of the grand slam in that loss against YD. Had a line out the other night against Hyannis. A good block behind the plate here by Leach as the breaking ball stays inside of the right-hander for Falmouth. Up to 318 in the youth of this Cape season is Condon. With DeBarge over at first base for now. There's 1 out in the inning. Pimentel working exclusively from the stretch from this point forward. Here he is now, the pitch. Thinking about it, looked like a changeup that dipped away. 2-0 here to the big bat for the Doors.
DeBarge has good speed at first base as well. 18 stolen bags for the Raging Cajuns. We'll see if they put him in motion here. Hasn't had too aggressive of a lead to this point, though.
Out of Missouri is Pimentel as he gets set here to go. Chasing 2-0. On the run is DeBarge. It's a hit and run here. Deep drive out to right center. Camping underneath it is Ferrer. He'll make the play. DeBarge has to head on back. There's 2 gone for Falmouth.
Good swing from Condon, but DeBarge probably had that bag stolen on a 2-0 pitch.
Looked like a really good jump, Zach. So here's Jace Lavalette, fresh off his freshman campaign at Texas A&M. Teammates with Tab Tracy. They'll both be commanding the outfield for the Commodores today for Jeff Trundy. With Falmouth looking for its 2nd win on the year. Lavalette takes the first pitch. It's a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Lavalette had an outstanding year for the Aggies, freshman All-American this season at Texas A&M.
It's good to have him here, rocking 44 this season. Now they've got DeBarge in a situation here. The play on. They throw it to the shortstop, Green, waiting for him in time, and he's hung out to dry. The Doors, 3 outs in the inning. The last one coming there on the bases, so it'll still be Lavalette leading off in the 2nd. The Doors leave 1 out there. 0-0. We go to the bats of the Whitecaps when we return on the Commodores Radio Network. Falmouth now up defensively. We saw this arm on opening night. Zach, it's Michael Ferret.
Ferret had himself a bit of an up-and-down outing on opening night, but part of that wasn't his fault. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Fell behind a lot of hitters, had to battle back. Just the 1 walk. Works effectively with that fastball slider changeup mix. And the righty out of the State College of Florida is looking to show off what he's got and really put a good showing up for these scouts here in attendance.
He'll go up against a tough order, one of the very, very best in the Cape League to this season. Trevor Austin's at second. He'll lead off. Dylan Leach behind the plate in the 2-hole. Peyton Green at short. Cleaning it up, James Tibbs in left. Jaime Ferrer in right in the 5 spot. Ike Irish will DH. Brock Tibbetts at first. After him, Mason White at the hot corner. And Patrick Forbes rounds out the order for the Whitecaps. looking for their 4th win on the season. So stepping in now, Trevor Austin will be the first to take on Michael Ferret. Just finished up his sophomore campaign in the SEC, Columbia, Missouri. Better than 310 on the average. Good to have in the leadoff role here in this young season.
It is. You want to get yourself on base as much as you can. He's done that here so far, 6 for 16 with Brewster.
First pitch swinging. He laces one into right field. Coming on in to make the play for the Doors defensively, that's Humphreys, and it's a leadoff base hit. Wasting little time.
And that's probably a single either way, but a big shift was on there for Falmouth. Christian Martin was playing well up the middle at second base. And right away, Brewster getting started. A lot of hits the other way against Falmouth throughout this season. Guys are really seeing these pitchers well, at least in the beginning, opening night, and then YD and Hyannis.
Ferret's got to move now to the stretch as he's underway on just the second pitch of the ball game. Dylan Leach steps in, 467 on the average. As you can imagine, that leads the Whitecaps in that category. As he steps in now, taking on Michael Ferret. Ferret from the stretch, lifts the leg and goes, and this one's fouled over the press box here at Stony Brook Field. Pretty good crowd gathered here for a interleague divisional matchup.
Got to keep an eye at first base on Austin. He's creeping. Looks like he might go. He's leaning here.
Leaning, he is. We'll see what they do here. Condon is holding. Ferret does go home. It's a breaking ball, and he pulled the string, cut on and missed.
And I think that extra second of hold there from Ferret kind of threw off Austin, forced him to not go because he wasn't able to get that jump. He was trying to time it up. Ferret holds, takes the extra breath, throws off the timing of the base runner.
Only one stolen bag to this point in the Young Cape season for Austin. And now the fastball from Ferret, cut on and fouled. Could not be held back there behind the plate by Ross Highfill, as that one was fouled straight back. It's Highfill behind the plate, as we mentioned when we ran through the order for Falmouth. Michael Ferret now from the stretch. Austin is going, pulled the string, strikeout. Now the chance for the throw. It's a little high to Gavin Keelan. Second swipe bag for Trevor Austin, who's now into second, but there is one away via the punch out.
Real good pitch to go on and a pretty good jump there. That would have taken a perfect throw from Ross Highfill just to give it a chance. Really nice job by Austin, continuing to time up Ferret throughout that at-bat and finding himself a curveball to run on.
Peyton Green, tonight's shortstop in the 3-hole, a .235 hitter to this point, 4 hits in 17 tries. The first one here from Ferret is taken low for a ball. This gives us a chance to tell you the Falmouth defensive order. Lavalette, Redfield, and Humphreys, all 3 new outfielders tonight in Brewster. DeBarge at third, Keelan's at short like normal, same with Martin at second. Condon still at first base with Highfill behind the plate. And the guy right here, Michael Ferret, lets it go on the 1-0. It's a changeup low and in. He falls behind. 2-0 now.
That stolen base also takes the double play out of effect with Peyton Green up. Long, lanky shortstop.
He's quick, too, as he takes this one in there for a strike. 9 stolen bags for Green this year with the Wolfpack. He was second on the team with 13 multi-home run games. So very, very obvious why he's in this role to bring in some base runners when they get on. The 2-1. Looks like another fastball inside and low. 3-1 now, Ferret behind. Isn't the worst thing in the world to put him on when you're falling behind, as is Ferret in this moment. A look back to Austin at second. Now he lifts the leg and goes home. It's a fastball in there for a strike. And a bat flip done by Green. He wasn't a believer in that one, and he's got to walk back and pick up his lumber with a full count now.
It's a big pitch for Ferret. As a hitter, it's tough to refocus your mindset after feeling like you've won the at-bat and heading down to first. Now you got to get back in and face the big 3-2.
Ferret lifts the leg and goes. He pulls the string, and it's just fouled by Peyton Green, sending it back towards the dugout of the Whitecaps, who are right now rocking red uniforms. Not a primary color of the Brewster Whitecaps because of a military appreciation effect that is around the Cape League. All the home teams on Friday nights wearing the same red uniforms. They look very sharp here as we'll do the 3-2 once again. Ferret, a look back, and now he goes. tried the breaking ball. It never broke, and that one's up and in. Taken for a ball. Again, no damage yet, as there is still now the force for the double play with second and first, with James Tibbs coming up to bat.
Yeah, one of 3 straight left-handed hitters for Brewster. They start righty, switch hitter, righty. That's what we've seen so far. Then 3 straight lefties, a righty, lefty, righty to round it out. But this is going to be a big part of the order for the righty on the mound in Ferret. Try and get through these 3 good left-handed hitters.
The first pitch from Ferret, a fastball upstairs, cut on and sent straight back to the screen. Got to think that Michael Ferret's teammate, Carson Montgomery, may have helped out with the scouting report going up with this Seminole in the box. Montgomery going tomorrow for Wareham's game. So maybe could have helped Michael Ferret with what to expect. We will see Montgomery tomorrow amid the weather that is supposed to come. This one's chopped on the ground to Condon. He does it himself. He calls off Ferret charging in. The base runners ahead of him will move up on the 3 unassisted. It's third and second with 2 away, with Jaime Ferrer coming in.
And that's a smart play by Charlie Condon. In that spot, you aren't going to have time to make that throw to second base and get 2. And it would have been a much tougher play to just get 1 if you try to go to second. So take it yourself. You've got 2 outs, and Jaime Ferrer now at the plate. If you retire him, you're out without any damage.
Well said, partner. That's Zach Surdenik. I've been Matt Venezia. We want to say thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us here on this beautiful night for baseball. Friday, the 16th of June in 2023. Fastball from Ferret in there for a strike.
Ball's jumping out of Michael Ferret's hands here in this first inning, especially on that heater.
Ferret lifts the leg and goes. It's a fastball up, missing for a ball. Ross Highfill having to stand up a little bit out of the crouch to receive that one. On a great, beautiful day for baseball. Not a single cloud in the sky. Love to see it here on this beautiful evening in Brewster. The pitch, it's a breaking ball, fouled over our heads along the right field line. And a good job by Ferret. Ahead of it now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. With Ferrer chasing now in the at-bat. Ferret, again, a look to third and second. He'll lift the leg and go. It's a fastball, swing and a miss. Ferret avoids trouble as 2 are left stranded. No one scored yet, but the Brewster Whitecaps had their first hit of the ball game in that frame. 0-0. We go to the second here on the Commodores Radio Network. Jace Lavalette stepped in the box in the first inning, but then his teammate Kyle DeBarge got in a tough pickle situation, so that's why Lavalette leads off the top half of the second. Still out there is Javen Pimental, and Lavalette will have a chance to swing the bat away here. An anticipated debut for this Commodore. First pitch swinging way behind that one. 0-1 from Pimental.
Yeah, no hits for Falmouth, and nothing really hit that hard in play. Charlie Condon hit a 2-0 fastball pretty well, but no damage.
Slider from the southpaw misses low and in to the other southpaw in the box. Lavalette, left-handed swing, left-handed arm out there and left for the Commodores here tonight. A new wave of incoming Commodores joined the team yesterday evening as the 1-1 cut on and missed. Behind it again, 1-2 is Lavalette.
A couple of SEC foes going at it here. Missouri and Texas A&M. Pimentel did not face off against the Aggies this year, so the first time that Lavalette will see him, but definitely some conference rivalries here.
And probably plenty of guys to talk to about scouting reports of each other. We'll see who wins this battle. The 1-2 from Pimentel. This one's chopped foul back towards the Commodore dugout. Everyone looks to be okay there. More action all around the Cape yesterday. Here in the Cape League was a off day, but with weather updates and things like that, with cancellations, it was actually the day that Catuit and Chatham made up their opening day game that got rained out.
Yeah, Catuit just continuing its winning ways.
The 1-2. Lavalette didn't swing, and it was right there with a nice frame job behind the plate by Dylan Leach, and he's sent back with a backwards K. The first strikeout of the day for Javen Pimentel, and there's one away.
Good front door breaking ball there to Lavalette. Starts like it's going to hit you in the back and then just drops right in on the edge.
So now it is Ross Highfill, and Highfill at this point in the year has set time as a designated hitter and the catcher for the Doors this season. Has a hit in every single game to this point in the young year. Pitch on the way, it's a fastball up. Good take by the backstop of Mississippi State, his freshman campaign behind him now. Getting some good opportunity this summer here in the Cape League. He's got a big bat, 1 home run on the year. One of the 2 that the Commodores have hit this season. The 1-0 ripped on the ground. That's going to be a base hit. Another one for Ross Highfill. He continues to step up as the youngster, and that is a 1-out base hit for Falmouth here in the second.
Getting things started. Another good swing from Highfill. Just continuing that hot start to the season. Still looking for his first multi-hit game of the season, though. He was 1 for 3 in the first 3 games, 1 for 4 in his last appearance. So can he get it done again? Actually, excuse me, did not have that 1 for 4. That was against YD.
Right. Here is the pitch to, again, another new Commodore in the lineup, Nate Humphreys. He takes that one for a ball. Humphreys out of DBU, native of Midlothian, Texas. Now stepping in here. 351 on the year. Started all 53 games for DBU this year. This fastball low. Highfield's got to dive back. Dylan Leach tried to back pick him there. And Highfield back in there.
And a lot of times you would think that the catchers aren't really a threat to steal, but Ross Highfield already with a pair of stolen bags this year for the Commodores.
He stole 2 of them during his SEC time earlier this year in Jackson, Mississippi. The pitch on the way, the 2-0. This one's on the ground. This could be turned. The 4, and here's the 6, and now the 3. A good stretch at first base by Tibbetts. And they roll him. Tailor-made, 6-4-3. And that does it for the inning. The Doors get a hit, but they get erased on the double play. We'll be right back with Brewster coming up here on the other side of the break on the Commodores Radio Network. Ike Irish, the designated hitter tonight, will lead off for the home team, the Brewster Whitecaps. First pitch from Fourette. A check swing, and making the call at home was Rick Force, calling it himself. Fourette gets ahead in the count, 0-1. He goes from the full wind. This one's chopped. It was a breaking ball that actually goes screaming into the dugout of Falmouth. Everyone looks to be all right. And right back to work is Fourette, ahead 0-2.
Forette's in a rhythm. He's working really quickly right now, trying to keep that.
The pitch on the way, changeup, down and in, stayed there, and a good take from Irish. With a ball and 2 strikes. Back to work goes Fourette from the full wind, and the pitch drops a breaking ball in there for a backwards K. Michael Fourette rolling to this point. He's got 3 strikeouts through a possible 4 outs already. 1 away.
24 pitches for Fourette, 16 strikes. Had the walk to green in that battle, but besides that has been pounding the zone and working really well.
With 1 away, it's a Big 10 matchup here. Bringing in Brock Tibbetts. He'll step in out of Indiana.
Indiana had a good season this year. Hoosiers able to pick up some big wins.
The 1-1. Check that, excuse me, the 0-1. Now it's 1-1 as that one's fouled back.
Tibbetts does a lot of catching for Indiana as well, but playing first base tonight.
This one's sent straight back. Highfill asks for a new bullet to give it back to Fourette. And again, quickly working here is Michael Fourette. A lot more command so far. Just really just lasering these strikes in there, one after the other. Back ahead is the right-hander for the Doors. A few shakes, now the wind and the pitch. Slows it down, and this one's popped and foul. Just barely staying alive was Brock Tibbetts.
And almost caught by a fan sitting on the hill behind us. He made an attempt.
Yeah, really nice setup here at the ballpark. Pitch on the way. It's another fastball, and it's sent again screaming over our heads. There's a playground right beyond the press box here at the home of the Brewster Whitecaps. A ton of children playing behind us now with our setup here in foul territory. The pitch on the way. This one is sent foul again. There might be a play on it in right. Humphrey's giving chase, and it's beyond the bullpen of Falmouth. And we'll redo the 1-2 once again.
Really good at bat from Brock Tibbetts. He has a pair of hits already, 3 RBIs for Brewster, but just trying to continue his smooth swing and his strong season from the spring.
3 RBIs to go along with that stat total that Zach just mentioned. Fourette in the full wind, waves off 1. Now he'll go with the pitch. He slows it down. It's a spike in the dirt. A nice sliding backhand block by Highfill. With nobody on, 1 away. Here in the bottom half of the second inning, both teams with 1 hit apiece. To this part of the early part of the ball game. Fourette again out of the full wind, looking to retire him here. The pitch, this one driven out to pretty deep left center. Camping underneath is Lavalette, and he'll make the play just ahead of that breaking ball, and just like that, 2 up, 2 down.
Love to see Fourette winning the battle and continuing to pound the zone, even with all those pitches in that at-bat. That was pitch number 8 of the at-bat. And just the 2 balls. Everything else just pounding the zone, continuing to get ahead, not allowing himself to fall behind these dangerous hitters.
Now out of the University of Arizona, Mason White will step in here in the 8th spot in the order. Right out there with me in the Pac-12.
Yeah, went Big 10 to Pac-12.
Many, many miles away from where we are right now. The 0-1 to White. Slider in the dirt. 1-1 now. White's at third base tonight for the Whitecaps. The 1-1, swing and a miss, well behind the fast stuff from Michael Fourette, and he's looking to get through the inning in order, needing 1 more strike to do that. Fourette quickly out of the wind, looking to retire the man, and it's fouled, slicing over the dugout of the Whitecaps.
Really defensive swing there, just trying to get a piece of that heater and stay alive.
Fourette again quickly going, and again, same spot. That looked like a breaking ball that is spoiled again, foul.
Mentioned it earlier in the inning, but listen how quickly Michael Fourette is working through this inning. He knows what he wants to throw, and he's going right at it.
And he's going to try and do it here. The 1-2 fastball well upstairs. There is a pitch clock these guys are working with now, but I mean, he is really working up there, just getting the baseball and going right when he steps on the rubber.
Yeah, that pitch clock isn't meant for him.
2-2. That one's fouled off of Highfill. He's going to get some time. May have caught him in the palm area of the glove. Adjusting his left hand there. He looks to be okay. Home plate umpire Rick Force cleaning off the plate, giving Ross some time to get comfortable. And Ross right away, right back in the crouch. He's ready to go.
Just ready to get that offense back to the plate.
Another good battle here in the count. Mason White fighting the 2-2. Fastball stayed upstairs, and from 1-2, now the count is full. Got to give credit to the Whitecaps here. They are getting worked a little bit here by Ferret, but they're making him fight for it. 2 outs, the full count pitch. Slowed it down and dropped it in there. Again, Highfill knew it. He ran away right away. That's another backwards K. Ferret is rolling through 2, but we're still scoreless as we go to the third. We'll be right back. Christian Martin will lead it off, the middle infielder out of Virginia Tech. Some time in the Valley League before stepping in here for these at-bats. Time is called behind the plate, though, right as we're getting ready to go. Dylan Leach looks like maybe the pitch comm system that he's got there, the little IFB in his ear, they're readjusting his gear right now. All the new high tech that you're capable of using to make it quicker to call balls and strikes back there.
I think this is the first time I've seen PitchCom in this league.
I haven't, yeah, I've noticed guys have, and now it looks like Leach is getting some help from a teammate here as he takes off his chest protector. I mean, he looks like he has an IFB in his ear, hearing or something.
You can see it attached to his, attached to the chest protector. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen that this summer.
Didn't have that back in my day. The old.
I don't know that they would have had it back at that level either, Matt.
The old 1, 2, 3 fingers, maybe a tap on the inside part of your gear to, for pitch location, but that was as advanced as I was.
Yeah.
I think Dylan Leach has a step up on me in that category.
Probably too. I think I took 1 day as a bullpen catcher.
Really?
That was about it that I caught. Was not a catcher.
That's fun, man. It's
not my thing.
You're part of the game every single pitch. Here's the one on the way that nearly got Martin up high. He steps out of the box as that heater ran up and in. Ahead of it now, 1-0. Martin, up to this point in the year, had been in the 2-hole, but with the new luggage now in here with Falmouth, the new import of players, he's moved down a bit in the order. He swings at the 1-0 here and chops this one to Austin at second. On to Tibbetts at first, and he's retired. The first out of the inning comes 4-3.
It's been good work from Pimentel on the mound. He's faced the minimum, got out of allowing that leadoff hit batter in the first, and then the 1-out single to Ross Highfill. He's cruising so far.
Now another former up-in-the-order player for the Commodores up to this point, Gavin Keelan. He'd been leading off up to this point in the season, now sliding all the way down to the 8th spot. The freshman out of Louisville, ready for his sophomore year next year. First pitch swinging, and again, Austin has a play on it. Firing one over to Tibbetts, and that is another 4-3. 2 ground ball outs to the second baseman. the Doors are putting him in play, just not hitting him all that hard. 2 gone.
Well, and the lefty-lefty matchups have been dominated by Pimentel on the mound so far, and that's not a good thing for Falmouth considering they've got 6 left-handed hitters in the lineup.
Well said, partner, as now Tab Tracy will come in. We were trying to get our Opening the Door episode up. There was some internet issues that kept that from happening, but Tab Tracy was the player we highlighted in the shortened game against Hyannis. Already had 2 hits through about a little over 6 innings of that ball game, but Tab has really acted as another leadoff man down there in the 9th spot. That's where he's been up to this point in the year. He's DHing tonight, normally commanding center field up to this point in the year. The 1-0 taken upstairs. Tab's got a friendly hitter's count opportunity here with 2-0 the count, 2 gone here at Stony Brook Field, Brewster, Massachusetts. First time we've been here this season, Zach.
It is. Just trying to flip the lineup up here. The wind blowing out to left center. Got some big thumpers at the top of the order.
Was looking for a pitch there. It stayed up. 3-0 now to Tracy. And again, you're talking about getting dominated in the left on left. You're looking for some hard hit ball. If it's your pitch, do you have the green light here?
I mean, a lot of times you'll see green lights in summer ball compared to in the spring, but we'll see what Tracy does here.
Tracy takes it. Wasn't even a thought because it was a spiked breaking ball that never had a chance. On 4 pitches, there is a 2-out base runner for the Doors, which flips the order back up to Redfield. He was hit by a pitch to open up the ball game.
He just finds his way on base. But it's not just the walks and the hit batters. I mean, when you hit over 400 over the course of a season, you can swing it a little bit.
So this is Redfield now. Again, we mentioned already reaching on base in his first opportunity. First pitch going is Tracy. A throw down by Leach in plenty of time by a mile. Another Commodore gets gunned down on the bases, and that means we will have to see Redfield lead off the 4th inning for the Doors. The Commodores get a late base runner on a walk, but only 1 pitch later, he is gunned on down. We're going to the bottom of the 3rd, looking for the first run of the ball game, as we'll be right back on the Commodores Radio Network. Looking for offense, looking for base runners. Really, the only threat was back in the 1st inning. Trevor Austin had a walk, and then Peyton Green was able to walk himself. Actually, check that. Trevor Austin had the base hit that eventually got him over to 3rd and 2nd, but Ferret was able to strand them both. First pitch here misses for a ball. This is Patrick Forbes in the box. A 2-way man playing center field tonight, but he's also pitched. Ferret fires one. This one's laced over the glove of Condon. That's going to be an opposite field leadoff base hit. The 2nd one of the day for Brewster. And Ferret will have to go back to the stretch. There's a base runner aboard for the home team.
And another opposite field hit. As you mentioned, it just seems like that's where teams are really attacking Falmouth. Might have a lot to do with Falmouth's approach as well with these pitchers. A lot of guys living on the outside part of the plate, and that's allowing guys to get extended and push it the other way.
You won't ever get beat that way, though, if you keep it away from these guys. And, I mean, Forbes gets a base hit, but no damage yet. Breaking ball here as we go back to the top of the order. Trevor Austin leaves it out there, diving away from the right-handed bat.
It's a solid mindset to go away as long as you're able to keep teams from stringing together those type of hits. That's where you can get in trouble like you did against YD.
It was a hit parade that day, a 14-6 loss for the Doors back at Gov Fuller Field a few days back.
Saw a similar phenomenon from these pitchers against Hyannis as well. The Harbor Hawks were all over the fastball, taking it into the gap and even down that right field line as well.
The 1-0 from Ferret. Fastball, thinking about the swing, was Austin. He held his swing. And he's ahead of it now, 2-0 here. So this is where we've seen a little bit from Ferret. If you look back at the Wareham game, a lot of unearned runs, but still was charged with a handful. The pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Gave him a fastball up and away. Nice healthy hack there by Trevor Austin.
That was the pitch he was looking for in that hitter's count, but Fred able to get it by him.
From the stretch, thinking about what he wants to do with first base. He will go back there as we say that. Condon slapping the tag, not in time. Keeping good tabs on Patrick Forbes.
Just trying to let the center fielder know you're thinking about it.
2 balls and 1 strike now. Ferret fires one. It's a fastball low. A nice take, and it's a 3-1 count. Nobody out.
Yeah, Michael Ferret wanted that one. He gave a little shake of the head after that call. He thought he caught that lower level at the knees.
It looked pretty good from here. The 3-1, same spot, same result. It's a walk. Back-to-back men have reached, and Ferret asking a little bit about that one. He was doing some hand motions to Rick Force behind the plate, telling him that was just a little bit low. So he'll have to work a little bit higher than that, but you got 2 on, nobody out.
Yeah, this is not the spot you want to be in, especially with Dylan Leach up, but was able to work a strikeout against Leach last time. Got to find your way through.
The switch hitter stands in the left-handed batter's box for the advantage to the hitter, as this one's right down Broadway, brought that fastball up a little bit, and got the result he was looking for.
And a switch-hitting catcher, something you're always going to love to see. Switch hitter in any position, but at that catcher position, when you've got a value bat, that just adds to it.
Patrick Forbes at second, catching the eye of Ferret as Keelan goes back to cover the pickoff. Right back in time is Austin, getting a lot of attention right now.
Keelan joking with his college teammate there at second base.
10 stolen bases for Austin. To no one's surprise, he picked one up in the first. He's contending and making Ferret think. Breaking ball here, chopped in play, charging in his DeBarge. He's got to throw it on the run. A beautiful pick. That's a 5-3 putout and a huge first out of the inning.
It is, but both runners do move up on soft contact, and that sets up an RBI chance for Peyton Green here. Michael Ferret's going to need to continue to work that escape magic here to get himself out of this jam.
Well, if you needed to wait a little bit just to see the glove of DeBarge, a beautiful play, charging in on the grass. That's a tough play.
A really tough play. Did a nice job.
But you mentioned the most important thing right now. The runners do advance. Third and second, one away. Peyton Green in there now. Fastball off the plate, low and away. Green walked last time and was stranded at second base. All the base runners were able to advance because of James Tibbs, who's on deck. That ground ball to Charlie Condon, the unassisted putout. Didn't have too much on it, and that allowed everyone to move up ahead of him. The 1-0 here from Ferret, fastball up. 2 balls, no strikes. Not a spot you want to be in right now with Peyton Green.
It's not, but a walk here is not the worst possible outcome. You've got first base open, and that sets up the double play ball. But it does bring the cleanup hitter up in James Tibbs.
Ferret from the stretch lifts the leg and fires one in there for a strike. Peyton Green was thinking about it there. Held up the swing just as the bat was getting ready to leave his shoulders. Good result for Ferret, who's still trailing in the count 2-1.
Slightly surprised that they're not in on the corners here for Falmouth to try and keep that runner at third base.
Giving up the run, they'll be okay with it here is basically what the Commodores are saying should they get a ground ball anywhere. I guess if it's hit on a line to any of the corners, you might have a decision.
Yeah, if it's hit hard.
Especially where, DeBarge is right now, where the base runner is at third base. 3-1 now from Ferret. Fastball is going to be fouled over our heads. A nice job fighting back into the count. A lot of children here behind us in the playground, as we mentioned here. Foul balls have been going over there. You got to keep your head on a swivel when you're on the swing set. 3-2 from Ferret. A big pitch here, trying to get one out closer. Pitch on the way. This one's driven out to right. Coming on in is Humphreys. He's got to make a play. It's really shallow. They're going to send the runner only halfway. And a beautiful throw right on line by Ross Highfill receiving it. Humphreys shows off his arm. That was a laser, keeping the go-ahead run at third base.
Yeah, I think that was a smart decision from Patrick Forbes. It wasn't hit that deep. It kind of hung up with the wind, and Humphreys came in firing. Kind of knew that base runner wasn't going too quickly and allowed that hesitation, and still would have had him by a mile with that throw.
Still one more out to get, but Nate Humphreys, cannon right there, keeps this thing scoreless. And now Tibbs will step in. First pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike. Nice front door breaking ball to get ahead in the count quickly.
It's a really good pitch. Able to get started, pitch backwards, and make Tibbs think a little bit about what's going to come up here.
Ferret looking for the sign from Highfill. He comes set on the mound. The 0-1 on the way. Another breaking ball got him to pop it up. This play should be made by Lavalette out there in left. He settles under it in left center. And the Doors again escape the jam, stranding the two runners from Brewster. Second and first, nobody out, and they're all left there on the bases. It's still 0-0. When we come back, it'll be Zach Surdenik taking over on the play-by-play headset on the other side of the break on the Commodores Radio Network.
Top of the fourth from Stony Brook Field, scoreless between Falmouth and Brewster. That's not the only game of the night on Cape Cod, though. We're going to send it over to Destiny Sanchez, who scores around the Cape.
Thanks, Zach. It's still early on this Friday night, but the YD Red Sox lead the Hartwich Mariners in the top of the fourth, 1-0. And the games that will be going on tonight, the Bourne Braves will be at Hyannis to go against the Harper Hawks starting at 6 p.m. The Cotuit Kettleers will be at Orleans at 6:30 p.m. And the Wareham Gatemen will be at the Chatham Anglers at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Destiny. A lot of action starting week 2 of this Cape Cod season here, the Centennial season here in the Cape League. And Falmouth looking for win number 2 on the summer. It's the 4th inning of work now on the mound for Javen Pimentel. Top of the order for Falmouth, Joe Redfield, Kyle DeBarge, and Charlie Condon. Pimentel has allowed a base runner in each of the first 3 innings and yet faced the minimum mat through 3 innings.
Well, the Commodores have gotten a little aggressive, trying to put the game in motion. Not a bad idea when you only have 1 hit through the first time through. But if you're going to do it, you got to make it count. Doors 0 for 2 so far.
Joe Redfield steps back in, takes first pitch below the knees. It's 1-0. Redfield hits from the left side. Center fielder out of Sam Houston State was hit by a pitch back in the first as that wide stance slightly open. The lefty Pimentel goes into the motion on the rubber, the 1-0. Chopped foul right back off of the catcher, Dylan Leach. The count even 1-1.
Yeah, those aren't the most non-painful things in the world when you get a foul ball right off the gear.
Infield deep across the diamond. Couple of steps toward the right side and off the line at third base is Mason White with the lefty in Redfield at the dish. Pimentel holds the glove at the chest, now goes into the motion. The 1-1, breaking ball sent right back to the fence behind home plate, and it's quickly 1-2.
Doors having a tough time hitting solid contact right now. They're staying with it. You can tell they're working and can see the difference, obviously, in the fastball and the breaking ball. But a lot of these breaking balls that they're waiting on, just not really doing much with when they make contact.
A lot of movement from that left arm of Pimentel. 1-2, strike 3 called, front door breaker. Redfield goes back to the dugout looking That's the second punch out for Pimentel. One away here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, Dylan Leach knew that one all day, right before Rick Force even made the call on the backwards K. Leach was already up in the left-handed batter's box, throwing down to third. Tough. I mean, left on left, breaking ball, front door. That's what a lot of guys like to go to, and left him buckled there.
Here's Kyle DeBarge. We saw his glove in the field back in the last frame. Now steps up to the plate. Fielder's choice back in the first. First pitch, low and outside. That's the changeup from Pimentel. It's 1-0. DeBarge out of Louisiana. Works back of the batter's box. Slightly open stance from the right side. Hands high over the right shoulder. Angles that bat down. 1-0 swinging. Crushed out to center, but going back on it is Forbes, and he'll make the play about 10 feet in front of the wall out in center for out number 2.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there. Really loud crack of the bat. Waiting on that slow off-speed pitch, driving it out to right center. The wind's blowing in right now. You can kind of feel it here, and that one definitely kept the ball up in the air because of the wind, and on a different day, I think that one gets out.
It's been swirling throughout this evening in Brewster. Charlie Condon steps in, flew out to right in his first at-bat, takes a fastball outside, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, textbook hit-and-run situation there as Redfield, obviously with a hit by pitch, got on then because of DeBarge's fielder's choice. You had a chance there to send a man in motion.
The wind and the 1-0. Off-speed stays outside. It's 2-0. Being careful with Condon at the plate, but this is the second time that he's gotten ahead in the count.
Swung 2-0 fast last time, obviously, because of the runner and the hit and run. Let's see what he has here.
The 2-0 pitch from Pimentel is low and inside. Condon way ahead in the count, 3-0. Infield deep across the diamond with 2 away. Pimentel taking a walk, settle himself. Red unis with the words Cape Cod in camo lettering across the chest. Camo Cape Cod hats for Brewster as well. The 3-0. Called strike, fastball on the outside edge. Condon took a few steps towards first. He'll head back to the batter's box, but still ahead in the count now, 3-1.
Yeah, I thought it was on the outer half here. It was a fastball. They just barely got the call.
Had a few of those already in this game. Couple of shakes from Pimentel on the rubber. The southpaw deals the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Dropped off the table. Pimentel's worked the count full against Charlie Condon.
Yeah, the changeup really effective there. A big, hefty swing from Condon. His helmet almost flew off. He had to readjust himself after that cut.
Steps back in, bends the knees from the right side. Circles the bat over that right shoulder. Hands tight to the chest. The 3-2 is low. Lays off the changeup. Condon works the walk. And a 2-out base runner for Jace Lavalette.
Well, I mean, the Doors have had base runners today. You look back and count them up. I mean, they have the base hit by Ross Highfill, the fielder's choice that had 2 guys in that same dilemma, a walk last inning, and now this walk here. They've had opportunities. They just haven't done anything with them. You got 2 outs, and Condon all the way at first. It'll be tough to bring him in, but Jace Lavalette, good guy to have up right now.
Freshman All-American stands in from the left side. First pitch is that sweeper that misses outside, and Leach able to snare it. Now we'll go out to talk with Pimentel. May have gotten crossed up there just a little bit, but that's rare for 2 guys that play with each other in college at Missouri.
And, you know, most of the time they let the players here in the Cape League call their own games, and they're the ones kind of officiating everything per se. But, you know, when you're dealing with a lot of other arms from other schools, it can tend to happen that you kind of get confused even with your own guy here.
Yeah, and you got the PitchCom system as well, as we talked about earlier. Pimentel working from the stretch. Rocks himself set of the belt. Gives a look over to first. Left leg kick, 1-0, swing and a miss. Continuing to pound that pitch down below the knees of Lavalette. He had success with it in the last at-bat before punching him out on that front door breaking ball.
Yeah, really good feel for it right now.
2-step lead off of first for Condon. Lavalette stands tall, 6'7", that left-handed batter's box. Angles the bat over the left shoulder. The 1-1, hit hard on the ground to second base. Austin, underhand flip to Green at second to retire the side. A 2-out walk, but nothing more for Falmouth at the top of the fourth. We're scoreless, heading to the bottom half on the Commodores Radio Network. Bottom of the fourth in Brewster. Still scoreless between the Doors and the Whitecaps. Michael Ferret back to the mound for his fourth inning of work, working out of that jam. Had 2 on and nobody out. And then second and third with 1 away. But the shallow fly out and then another fly ball that retired the side. We head to this inning with 5, 6, 7 coming up for Brewster. Jaime Ferrer, Ike Irish, and Brock Tibbetts. Ferrer bends the knees, angles that bat over the right shoulder. First pitch swinging, fly ball to left. Lavalette, few steps to his right, back pedaling on it to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Ferret, and that's how you like to start the inning.
I was going to say, you don't want to speak too soon, but Zach, you and I just saying off air, you need a quick inning here. We talked about the 2 different scenarios already where Ferret has had to work out of trouble, get something quick here, get back in the dugout. Your offense is still trying to get going right now. Ferret can keep this game where it is. He's got the juice to do it. That's a good start to the inning.
Now here is the Auburn Tiger, Ike Irish. Slightly open stance from the left side, big bend in the knees. Ferret from the windup, the righty delivers fastball high, the count to 1-0. Commodores shifted a few steps to the right side of the infield with the lefty at the plate in Irish. The designated hitter tonight for Brewster. 1-0, cut on and missed. Nods there and evens up the count.
It's a really good bat again out of the SEC. There's a lot of them scattered throughout Cape Cod, and a lot of them on this Brewster team.
1-0. Fastball just misses a touch outside, and it's 2-1 to Irish. It was called out on strikes to start that 1-2-3. Bottom of the second worked by Ferret. Trying to match that 1-2-3 frame here in the fourth, but falls behind 3-1 as the fastball misses low to Irish. This is the debut in Brewster for Irish. Still looking for his first hit of the summer. 3-1 fastball, taken all the way, a called strike. Count runs full now, 3-2.
Really good pitch to get back into this count. He's had some success with the breaking ball, but comes back for a big one there.
Pitch number 65 of the outing is the 3-2, and it's skied to center. Long run in out in center field for Redfield, but he'll make the play. And 2 up, 2 down here in the fourth for Michael Ferret.
It's just really good stuff from Ferret. Again, found himself behind in the count, able to fire what he's good with. He finds a fastball right at the knees for a strike. You throw him a swingable pitch that, you know, with the wind right now, your friend can be the outfield. You got a great 3 new outfielders out there, different than what Ferret had on opening night. That's a nice play out there in center.
Brock Tibbetts steps in, squares the bunt, pulls back, and takes a strike. To start this at bat, he flew out to Jace Lavalette. Back in the second, getting his second look at Michael Ferret. We're still scoreless here in Brewster, the 0-1. Breaking ball, chopped foul towards the dugout on the third base side for Brewster. Good-sized crowd here on this Friday night at Stony Brook Field. Michael Ferret trying to hang another 0 on the scoreboard as Tibbetts digs back in. The 0-2. Fastball lined out to right. Coming in is Humphreys, and he'll watch it drop in front of him. A 2-out single for Brock Tibbetts extends the frame for Brewster.
Yeah, I mean, really good stuff there from Ferret. Able to get ahead, throw a good pitch there. Maybe you don't want that much plate on an 0-2 pitch. Maybe have that down a little bit. But nonetheless, I mean, Tibbetts didn't have a lot on it. Kind of sawed him off a little bit, and just sort of a dying quail that Humphreys was obviously charging in on. Take care of it, though. Let that be the only base runner and get back in the dugout quickly.
All 3 hits the other way for Brewster to this point. First pitch swinging down in the dirt is Mason White. He was reaching for that pitch and came up with nothing but air. 0-1 now. The Brewster third baseman hits from the left side. Arizona Wildcat bends the knees in that left-handed batter's box. Fastball chopped on the ground to first. Condon fields it but can't keep it in fair territory, and so an 0-2 count.
We call the school that Mason goes to the other Arizona school.
I bet you do down in Tempe.
Well, they're down there, you know, in Tucson, a good 2 hours south of us up in the Phoenix metropolitan area.
The 0-2. Fastball brushes back White. It's a 1-2 count. The Bar's playing well off the line at third base. Just daring White to try and put it down that third baseline. Especially with 2 strikes, the bunt not really a threat.
Yeah, but he's got the speed, though. Anything kind of over there.
The 1-2. Chopped on the ground, right side, past the diving Condon and into right field. Humphreys comes up throwing, and Brock Tibbetts knows better than to run on that arm. He'll hold at second, but back-to-back 2-out, 2-strike singles, and the Whitecaps have something brewing with Patrick Forbes stepping to the dish.
Well, now we're seeing the reverse of what we've seen with Ferret up to this point. A couple scenarios of him dealing out of danger. Now he gets ahead quickly with the first 2 quick outs and a couple 2-strike knocks for the Whitecaps, and suddenly now you got some situational stuff here.
Forbes steps up, takes first pitch heater up at the eyes, and it's 1-0. That's the first ball that was pulled for a hit for Brewster. It still went to right field, but the left-handed hitter in white getting on the board. Ferret lifts the leg, the 1-0, fastball at the knees, and Ferret looks to the plate and says, that's down the middle.
Yeah, he looks a little upset there, not getting what he wants from Rick Force behind the plate. But hey, you got to come back and fire. You're not in a friendly count here, but you do need to throw a strike and put it where you want it. If you can locate here, you can saw him off on a fastball in.
Top of the order looming on deck. Breaking ball for a called strike. Goes front door with the off speed, and it's 2-1.
That's a really good pitch. The only way you hit that is you just got to be looking for it. You got to be sitting on that pitch. Jammed it right under the hands. Highfield barely had to move. You could do it again here.
2-1 goes back to it. It's roped foul down the third base line, and it's 2-2.
Okay, so now, he's expecting some sort of off speed, right? So if you were to do it again, you don't want this really to be in the same spot at all. Maybe have it middle in and then have it drop off the plate. Or I say you go back to that knee-high fastball that has been kind of hit or miss.
The break even from Ferret. Off speed leaks low and in, and the count runs full 3-2.
So he went to option A. And now that you need a strike, the only strikes have been that front door breaking ball. It's tough, though, against a bat like Forbes to throw it for the third time in the at-bat for a strike.
The payoff. Ground ball back up the middle. Martin will field it on a backhand throw across the diamond, not in time. An infield single, and the bases are loaded. 3 straight, 2-strike, 2-out hits to load things up for Brewster.
Well, if nothing else, you kept that on the infield, and it was still close because of the great play running away from first base by Christian Martin on the backhand jump throw. And if that gets by Condon, the floodgates open. So it's a nice job to put on a good throw and make it close. The good news is, though, anything on the infield, just the closest base to get out of this inning.
Trevor Austin steps up. The Commodores have yet to retire him so far. A single and a walk. Ferret fires first pitch fastball for a called strike. Just trying to bear down and get through it. This will be pitch number 80 for Michael Ferret. Working from the stretch with the bases loaded. Infield deep across the diamond. Play at any bag. Righty rocks himself, set at the belt. High leg kick. The 0-1 is lined out to right field. Humphreys back on it, and he'll make the catch. For out number 3, Ferret works himself out of a jam, leaves the bases loaded. We're scoreless through 4 at Stony Brook Field. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. Javen Pimentel back out for his 5th inning of work. Both starters have worked 4 scoreless frames. It's 5-6-7 in the Falmouth order to face him the second time through the order. Just talking during the break, Matt, 7 stranded for Brewster. Not a single man stranded for Falmouth, but at the end of the day, we're still scoreless.
I mean, pick your poison. I mean, at least with the base runners, you get yourself an opportunity. And now the umpires are saying something here.
Looks like a pitch clock violation called on Javen Pimentel, and so it's a 1-0 count to start things to Ross Highfill. It's the first one we've seen this summer, Matt.
I was going to say it was the first time for everything.
And it's quickly already 2-0 as the first pitch misses low. That was actually fired there from Pimentel, and Highfill way ahead in the count, had the single back in the second inning, the lone hit for Falmouth to this point. Shoots one towards the same spot, a little softer though, as White fields and fires for out number 1.
Ross swinging 2-0. You want to get something and go for it when you're ahead in the count there. Just a rolled over ground ball to Mason White over there, and a step and a fire. And again, the Doors, only 1 hit today. Got a couple base runners with the help of a fielder's choice and a couple walks, but that's about it.
And only 46 pitches through 4 1/3 on the mound for Pimentel. He is cruising to this point. He's got Nate Humphreys now stepping in from the left side, one of 4 straight left-handed hitters to close out the lineup for Falmouth, and then one more at the top in Redfield makes it 5 straight. Fastball fouled back to the screen. It's 0-1. Humphreys grounded into the double play that ended the second. Bends the knees, leans back, hunched over, holds that bat almost parallel to the ground over the left shoulder. 0-1 hit on the ground left side. Green moving to his right, makes the play, fires across and gets Humphreys by a step. 2 up, 2 down on just 4 pitches for Pimentel in the 5th.
You notice the difference here in the way these 2 sets of teams have gone about their offense is that when Brewster's swinging, they're looking for pitches and they're getting them. We're talking about those base hits and consecutive at-bats with 2 out. You're taking advantage of what you're looking for. The Doors are swinging. They're obviously looking for something. They go for it, and everything's just dying in on the infield. Nothing's really been out to the outfield in some time.
Yeah, just 2 strikeouts for Pimentel, but he has been cruising. Fires a first pitch sweeper in for a called strike to Christian Martin. It's 0-1. Martin grounded out to Austin at second base back in the 3rd. Pimentel, the tall southpaw, goes into the motion. The 0-1 goes right back to the same pitch. This time it stays a touch inside and evens up the count 1-1.
He's got really good feel for that breaking ball. All these lefties that we talked about this Falmouth order has. They brought in new imported players. Well, there's a good chunk of lefties in that mix as well.
The wind in the 1-1 from Pimentel is hit high out to right field, hooking and foul. Had good distance, but couldn't keep it fair, and it's 1-2. This will be the 8th pitch of the inning for Pimentel. He's trying to get right back to the dugout for Brewster. The 1-2. Fastball high, pops out of the glove of Leach behind the plate, rolls right next to us. Got a good view of the Centennial baseball here with the 100-year logo on it.
Well, for a second there, Leach kind of looked stunned that it popped out of his glove. At first, I thought maybe he felt like he got crossed up there, but more so, why did that not stay in my mitt?
No harm, no foul, and nobody on base. The 2-2 to Martin. Strike 3 called. Goes down looking on the fastball. Pimentel works through the inning on just 9 pitches. Falmouth retired in order. We're scoreless. End of the bottom of the 5th from Stony Brook Field right here on the Falmouth Commodores Radio Network. Shane Telfer taking the mound, piggybacking off of the starter Michael Ferret, who was outstanding. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. But he's arguably been outdueled by Javen Pimental. At the end of the day, though, no runs for either side. Shane Telfer taking over, and he was really good, Matt, in his first outing with Falmouth.
Yeah, we saw him against Bourne the other day, with Falmouth ending that one in a tie. Big reason for that is because of the effort that Shane did out of Pepperdine. 4 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, a run. It was earned. He walked 2 batters and struck out 7. He's got a great 12-6 curveball. He's going to leave a lot of guys buckled with that pitch. Another southpaw, but he can really bring it. I've loved what I've seen so far from Telfer.
And he's done a really nice job of using that fastball. He doesn't throw it too hard, but has really good spin rate on that and really good carry through the zone. We'll see if he can use it here. He's got the middle of the order. Dylan Leach, Peyton Green, and James Tibbs. It's the switch hitter in Leach that starts. This is the first time he's hitting from the right side with the lefty Shane Telfer on the mound. The Pepperdine wave goes into the motion. First pitch is a fastball outside, and his outing is underway here in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs on 5 hits for Brewster. No runs on 1 hit for Falmouth. The 1-0 from Telfer. Fastball catches the inner third for a called strike. Evens up the count, 1-1. Infield deep across the diamond against Leach. Struck out back in the first, grounded out to third in his last at bat in the third. Big breaker fouled off his foot. It's 1-1.
That's that pitch we're talking about. I mean, you really got to wait a while. This pitch comes in mid to low 70s. And again, when you aren't throwing the fastball all that hard, you got to be good with your secondary and third pitches that you go to. Telfer is a perfect mold of that with how he uses that breaking ball.
Couple of shakes from the lefty. Goes into the motion. 1-2. Sails to the backstop and evens things at 2-2.
Yeah, that one nowhere near. Lucky it's not a left-handed batter. Otherwise, that could be trouble in the box.
Well, they would have been running out of the box on that one. Don't want to take one up near that level. The 2-2. Breaking ball up in the zone and fouled back to the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was the plan to start it up that high, and because of that, it doesn't break that much when you don't really get your, when you're extending to get the spin on the baseball. That could be trouble. It doesn't drop that much right into the swing path.
The 2-2, once again, elevated fastball. Punches out Leach. First strikeout of the outing for Shane Telfer, and the first man retired in the bottom of the 5th.
And he picks up right where he left off against Bourne. Telfer continues to be, in my opinion, probably one of the best arms we've seen out of the bullpen. Obviously, longer relief options. We saw Casey Hunt the other day have 3 innings, and Paul Bonzani used for an inning and change. Telfer's going to give you that long distance.
First pitch swinging, pop up right side, and it's out of play to start the at-bat for Peyton Green. 0 for 1, walked in the first, and then hit that shallow fly out to right field in his last at-bat. Fastball just misses inside, evens up the count, 1-1. Telfer, one of the best pitches in the West Coast Conference this year at Pepperdine. Fastball tipped into the glove, and Telfer ahead in the count now once again. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he is just smooth sailing right now. Great arm to go to after Ferret got into some scary situations. Telfer's been doing it all year long.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Goes right back to the fastball. 2 batters, 2 punch-outs for Shane Telfer.
Yeah, I couldn't really drop a much better start to this game for the Wave entering his senior year. Comes in at 6'1", 185. So, I mean, not the biggest guy in the world out there, but again, if you can just look intimidating up there with the fact that you can go fastball, curveball with a differential of at least 15 miles an hour, I mean, that'll play.
First pitch breaking ball hit on the ground, snared on a dive by Condon, flipped to Telfer in time, and a 1-2-3 inning worked out of the pen by Shane Telfer. We head to the 6th, still scoreless between the Commodores and the Whitecaps. Matt Venezia back on the play-by-play on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. Top of the 6th inning getting underway. Nothing still. It's a pitcher's duel. Very, very different than the last time we had the headsets on, Zach. 2 days ago before the off day at Hyannis. Pimental's been dominating, and we just saw what Telfer did in his first inning of work. We'll see if the Doors maybe can pick something up. Only one hit up to this point through 5 innings, and it's Keelan back into the box for the visiting Falmouth Commodores. Gavin Keelan grounded out to second base back in the 3rd inning. First pitch here from Pimental as Gavin shows bunt, pulls it back for a ball.
I've already seen him lay one down for a hit earlier in this season. I don't think he's going to do it here, though, now with White creeping up on the grass.
Looking for the sign, and now in the full wind. The pitch on the way from Pimental. This one's chopped on the ground to the second baseman, Austin, again. One step and a throw. Same result in 2 consecutive tries for Keelan, and once again, another out for the Doors.
Well, and you're seeing a lot of ground balls rolled over, and you're seeing that because of the late movement on those pitches. That fastball coming from the lefty in Pimental, especially to that left-handed hitter, it's running away from their bat. And so instead of going the other way with it, Commodores bats are rolling it over and sending it towards Austin at second base.
Struggling to get on the breaking ball and barrel some up. Maybe just look for the fastball. We'll see what Pimental continues to deliver. Tab swung at that fastball, but was a million years late on it.
And it's been both pitches. I mean, the fastball and the breaking ball have that similar movement away from the barrel and just not able to square it up to this point.
Out of the full wind, the pitch to the southpaw. This one's chopped off of Tracy foul, and he's behind 0-2. Pimental really having a lot of success, not only because of his stuff, but it also helps him out that the majority of these hitters for Falmouth are all in that left-handed batter's box.
It does, and they had the 9-pitch inning in the last inning from Pimental. He's already at 0-2 in this at-bat with 1 out, and this is only pitch number 5.
Out of the full wind, the 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball drops in perfectly. It's another strikeout, another backwards K for Pimental. He's racking them up right now.
All 4 strikeouts for Pimental looking. Tab Tracy thought that one was out, but Force disagrees, and again, continuing to cruise.
So Joe Redfield, as the top of the order comes through, starting the 3rd at-bats for all the Commodores is Redfield, and it's only the 6th inning. First pitch here is the breaking ball. It started in and stayed in. So Redfield ahead of it now, 1-0. Again, a pretty good crowd here at Stony Brook Field. The Commodores looking for win number 2 on the season. This is a fastball that's up and away. Very rare instant that the Doors are ahead in the count.
Well, and when they have, they've worked way ahead in the count. I mean, the 2 walks, both counts started 3-0.
The 2-0 from Pimental. This is a fastball, and it's chopped along the first base line, and now will go right in foul territory. So Redfield looking for the fast stuff. He got it. Just tops it off his shoelaces.
Yeah, just trying to find a barrel, and they haven't been able to do so at all. Pimental putting together right now what has got to be one of the most impressive starts on the Cape so far this summer.
Absolutely, and he's really shown it. We knew what we were getting with him out of Missouri, and he's shown it here. Big SEC southpaw. Looking pretty good in front of the plentiful amount of scouts that are here at this ballpark taking in this pitcher's duel. The 2-1 here. This is a fastball up, and it screams foul off the netting. And from 2-0, it's 2-2 with 2 gone in the inning for the Doors.
And Redfield just such a wide stance already. He's just trying to put the ball in play and do some damage. Going to continue that approach here with 2 strikes and just try and get a base runner with 2 away and see if they can chop something together.
The 2-2 on the way. This one's off the mask, swing and a miss. It bounces towards the Falmouth dugout in a very unconventional way for a base runner. It's a drop third strike that bounced off the plate, and then the mask of the backstop leaks, and just like that, the Doors have a base runner.
They'll take it, especially if they're able to move some things around here. That's the 5th strikeout already for Pimental. He seems to be getting better as the game goes on for Brewster, and that's not the sight you want to see if you're Falmouth. Not surprisingly, there is no one warming in that Brewster bullpen, and actually now somebody will get up right on cue.
Well, I was just going to say, after a wave and a miss like that, you're ready to hop off the mound. let's see if this impacts him a little bit, does Pimentel, having to now work again when you think you're out of the inning.
And a dangerous part of the order as well.
2-3-4, still due up. First pitch swinging is DeBarge. It's chopped to White. A long throw from third off the bag, but the tag is applied by Tibbetts, and the inning ends. So all that talk about what that drop third could do for the Doors gets erased with a 5-3 putout. The Doors still looking for offense. Another 0. That's 6 consecutive for Falmouth in the offense. The bats of the Whitecaps coming up on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. And we're back here for the bottom of the 6th inning. Shane Telfer back out there. Zach, we were talking about, when Shane was coming in to pitch, the Pepperdine wave, the year he had out there in the Pacific Conference. Well, as of yesterday, Telfer is now in the portal, and he's going to that other Arizona school that I was talking about.
Yeah, gonna take his grad year at University of Arizona down in Tucson. And the newly minted Wildcat works himself a spectacular first inning out of the pen. We'll see if he can continue it here against 5, 6, 7 in this Brewster order.
Shane will be taking the rubber at Terry Francona Field down in Tucson. As I mentioned, about a 2-hour drive from where I reside out in Tempe. Now, I'm graduating early, so I actually won't get to be there for that matchup of the Sun Devils and the Wildcats. 1 year too late for me to see this door now in Tucson, but wishing Shane nothing but the best, transferring over to now a bigger conference in the Pac-12. Good baseball out there in the Pac-12.
It is, and Arizona had a run to buy an at-large bid in this year's tournament, somewhat controversially, but finding their way in and giving themselves a chance to play a little more baseball.
Yeah, way to put it controversially. You're talking to a Sun Devil here that was on the wrong side of the word controversial in that aspect. Breaking ball here off the plate and away. Telfer for the first time tonight, falling behind in the count 3-1 as we resume action here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Still nothing if you're just tuning in. The 3-1 is a fastball lined on a hop to Christian Martin. He's got to play on it, steps and throws. And hey, when you fall behind in the count, trust your defense behind you, and that's exactly what happens.
And that ball was hit pretty hard, but it's right at a glove. And that's kind of been the theme of the night so far for a lot of these plays, is everything being hit right at defenders, and that's what you want as the pitcher.
Ike Irish steps in. You mentioned his Cape League debut tonight. 0-2 to start. Struck out back in the second looking, and then flew out to center on a full count last time. Shows bunt here and takes it, as it's a breaking ball in there for a strike. Telfer right back to work, falling behind. Now he's ahead 0-1.
Second time we've seen that from Brewster already, trying to take advantage of where DeBarge is playing.
Another one. Repeats the pitch, and it's in there for the same result. Getting the call by Rick Force behind the plate. 0-2.
See if he elevates a fastball here, tries to blow one by him.
He's gotten a couple of waves and misses on it. He goes with it here. That was about a foot too high, though. Highfill reaching up, had his arm straight up to catch that one, still in the crouch.
And that is tough to do with the 6'2" Ike Irish standing in that left-handed batter's box.
Telfer gets the sign, the full wind, and the pitch. Breaking ball drops it in. This one's chopped the other way. Long thrown from DeBarge. Steps in on a pick. Did Condon do it? Yes, he did. Very close play, and Tom Ryberg makes the call. That's a 5-3 and a laser from DeBarge. Makes the second out of the inning.
And Kyle DeBarge has been outstanding at third base. Infielder from Louisiana, immediately making an impact with his glove.
What a step in for that Ragin' Cajun over there to join the Commodore faithful. And so far, so good defensively. With the bats, everyone's hitless except for one man for Falmouth to this point. As that one redirects off of Ross Highfill, he'll take his time getting to this baseball.
And that's when he immediately taps the chest towards Shane Telfer. I think he thinks Same thing. I was thinking that if he catches that ball, that might have been called a strike.
Going right back to work, ignoring that. The 1-0 from Telfer. This fastball is fouled straight back to the screen. We mentioned that the Doors are pretty much hitless except for one man. It's Ross Highfill, who up to this point has a hit in every single game except for an official game in that Hyannis game that was called in the 6th inning. Fastball here below the knees, taken.
Found his way on base twice in that game, too. Worked a couple of walks.
You always got to find a new streak to start when you're broadcasting and something to talk about. So the hit streak, technically, even though he would have had an at-bat or two more, given the way that offensive game was going. The 2-1 changeup stays down low. I think Ross would have probably gotten there, but now because it is an official game, we have to say that he was not able to keep the hit streak going to start the year, but he has reached base every single time to this point in the year. The 3-1 from Telfer, that's a fastball off the plate. It's a 2-out walk, and the first batter reached here for Telfer. He'll have to work out of the stretch.
But gets the left-handed hitter now in Mason White coming up. This is a very anti-bullpen matchup lineup for Brewster. It's righty switch, righty-lefty, 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 righty. So you get a lot of back and forth here. So as a left-handed pitcher, you know a lefty's coming sooner than later.
Well, now Mason White will step in. As he shows bunt here, it's up. Highfield jumps out of the crouch and watches Tibbetts go back on to first base. Honestly, Mason White might not even know that these two are going to be teammates in Tucson in a few months.
Yes.
With Telfer announcing his transfer, as we just mentioned. The 1-0 on the way. This one's popped up on the infield. Calling for it as a commander of the infield, the shortstop, Gavin Keelan. He makes the play. The 2-out walk is stranded. This game is still scoreless, going to its last third. 0-0 here in Brewster. We'll be right back on the other side of the break on the Commodores Radio Network. Good news for Falmouth. Pimentel is not pitching anymore. Maybe this could spark some offense for the Doors as we begin the top of the 7th inning. Tommy Shapansky out of Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. What's the line?
Yeah, coming out of Virginia Tech, he had himself a decent season for the Hokies. Bay City, Michigan native, trying to get it done. Big righty. Looking for some success, but he's going to come in with a very tough part of the order. Condon, Lavalette, and Highfill to the dish.
Eventually, that part of the order will be very, very dangerous in a ball game, but up to this point, hitless. All three of those guys, or check that with Highfill, actually had the base hit in his first time up. So 3, 4, 5, 1 hit today. Meanwhile, this one's driven out to deep right center field. Back on his horse, still back and running right in front of the wall. The play is going to be made by Ferrer out there in right center. It's a long and loud first out of the inning, but the first barrel in some time for Falmouth.
It is, and that ball, at the very least, would have hit the top of the wall if it wasn't caught by Ferrer. Not tall walls in Brewster, and so basically had a chance to clear that right field fence if Ferrer wasn't there.
First pitch here, breaking ball stays low on Lavalette.
Falmouth just needs some base runners.
That they do, partner. It's been some time, I guess, since that drop third last inning, but even before that, they have not had much help on the bases. That drop third strike that we saw in the previous inning was the only runner the Commodores have stranded in this ball game. Szczepanski behind here, though, to Lavalette. The 2-0 on the way from the right-hander, and it's a fastball right down Broadway. That one's in there for a strike.
Lavalette just looking to find a barrel, and if he gets one up in the air, it's going to go a long way.
Full wind here. This one's driven out to deep center field. Camping underneath it is Forbes. He'll make the play running to his right. Couple long fly balls here by the Commodores. They might have picked something up here on the new right-hander in the ball game, but 2 gone here in the 7th.
Just continuing to find gloves.
Sometimes that's how it goes, and now the only Commodore to have a base hit in this ball game is Ross Highfill, today's catcher. Looking for the sign is Szczepanski. He gets it, and now the full wind, the pitch. Breaking ball stayed up there. Highfill, a long look back at Rick Force, the umpire there, as that one came in near his head. Ahead of it 1-0.
White and green on the left side of the infield, playing a little condensed. That ball's been hit between the two of them both times from Highfill.
The 1-0 here to Highfill is a slider starting middle, ending away, and a check swing there, and Ross was kind of thinking about it, said some stuff to himself after that. The 1-1 as Szczepanski gets set, the full wind, and the pitch. Breaking ball, never had a chance. Way out in front was Highfill. He'll step out of the box and regather his thoughts. A tap to his left part of his chest as he gets back in the box. With the bat flipping ahead of his head here, the pitch, the 1-2. Another breaking ball way out in front. It's a wave and a miss. The Doors go down in order. Still looking for our first run of the ball game as we go to the home half of the 7th. Time to stretch. We'll see if that leads to some offense as we have the bottom of the 7th coming up on the other side of the break. Here from Brewster on the Commodores Radio Network. 9-1-2 due up for Brewster. 5 hits for the Whitecaps. No runs, no errors. The better offensive team of these two. It really hasn't even been close. The Commodores have just that hit a million years ago, way back in the 2nd inning from Highfill. That's it.
Yeah, but with the exception of Highfill's at bat in the top of the 7th, the first 2 hitters in that inning saw Szczepanski pretty well. A couple of hard hit balls off the bats of Condon and Lavalette. If you can just keep shutting down these Brewster bats, you got to think that the offense for Falmouth's eventually going to come around.
Patrick Forbes in there, takes a pitch in from Telfer for a strike. Telfer out there now for his 3rd inning of work. He's moving right along here pretty nicely. Breaking ball drops in there. And Highfill about to throw it back, and then he kind of stopped himself. He thought that was going to be a strike as well. Rick Force, other ideas behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes all day. The 1-1 is a fastball up and away. Never had a chance on that one. 2-1. The right-hander Forbes steps in. He's got 2 hits and 2 tries to this point of the game. Nearly half the offense of the Whitecaps today. He goes up the ladder here and sends it straight back. Nice job elevating the fastball for Telfer to get back in this count 2-2.
Yeah, Forbes hit a ball pretty hard in the third out to right field, and then that little weak number up the middle that stayed for an infield single.
2-2 cut on and missed by Telfer. He continues to roll since coming in from the bullpen. He's got 3 punch outs to this point, all of them on wave and misses, and a nice start to the inning for Falmouth defensively.
Yeah, way to retire guy for the first time on the day for Falmouth. Now you got the top of the order here. Gonna have to try and keep it moving.
That you do, and it's Trevor Austin entering now his 4th appearance on the day. 1 for 3 to this point. Actually, 1 for 2. In 3 tries, he did earn a walk, an unofficial at bat. Austin, the second baseman, been very active with all these ground balls that the Commodores have sent his way on that right side of the infield. It's a foul ball there by Austin over our heads along the right field line. Telfer full wind, no one to hold on here, so he can take his time from the wind. The pitch on the way. This one's driven on a line out to center. That's going to get down. Coming on in and playing it on 2 hops is Redfield, and it got by him. That's going to allow Austin to move on to second. You can rule that one a base hit and an error out in center. And suddenly, it looks like an extra base hit just occurred, and that's bad news for Falmouth. There's a runner on second with 1 away.
And especially with the swings that Falmouth's had at the plate, it's trouble. You got to find your way through this inning if you're Telfer. And the wind just started gusting straight out to center field, too. So a ball up in the air might catch a jet stream here.
That it might. That's Zach Surdenik. I've been Matt Venezia. Destiny Sanchez, our 3rd member. We'll hear from her in just a second with the out-of-town score on the other side of the break. Telfer right back to work as if nothing even happened, and he gets a wave and a miss like he has all day. Trying to navigate through this trouble, and he'll step off the rubber here, and it looks like a balk has been called on Telfer. Making the call. Yeah, Tom Ryberg making the call, and that's not ideal. So a base hit has now advanced to 3rd on an error in center, and a mistake by the pitcher. Foul tip held back there by Highfield. Nonetheless, it's 0-2. The infield is suddenly in on the grass. So anything here on the ground you'd like to see if you got to play at the plate, or at least will eye Austin back to 3rd. The 0-2 from Telfer on the way. Fastball runs inside. Diving and leaning out of that one was Dylan Leach. He's 0 for 3 today. Was the first man that Telfer faced back in the 5th and got him on a swinging strikeout. You'd love that right here. From the stretches, Telfer the pitch. Right down Broadway. It's a late strike 3 called by Rick Force, and a huge one at that, and a big second out of the inning. And it's the 4th time Telfer's got a man going down.
Got him looking there, caught that inner 3rd with the fastball. And he set that up off the last pitch where it was the fastball inside, then brings it a little bit closer to the plate on the inside edge and catches the corner.
Beautiful job by Telfer to navigate through the trouble of this inning. And now the infield can return to normal depth. Fastball here low. The frame job by Highfield not getting the call. 1-0 here to Peyton Green, who walked back in the 1st inning. A fly out to right where Humphreys is, and then he struck out again. 2 consecutive to start the outing for Telfer at the time. He drops in that 12-6 on the inner half. Taking it all day, it evens up the count at 1.
And a real big spot trying to find your way through it and leave a base runner on.
They've stranded 8 to this point in the game. He would love to add another to that total. This one's chopped right back to Telfer. He fields it cleanly, makes a good throw. It was a laser. It didn't have to be. Nonetheless, it all looks the same. Zeros for everyone through 7, and we continue to roll on looking for the first run of the ball game. It's 0-0. We'll hear from Destiny Sanchez on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. New pitcher on the mound. We'll hear from him in just a second. This one's 0-0, but there's action all around the Cape, and Destiny Sanchez has the report.
Thanks, Matt. The YD Red Sox lead the Hartwich Mariners at the top of the fourth. The Bourne Braves lead the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-0 at the top of the third. And the Orleans Firebirds and the Cotuit Kettleers are scoreless at the top of the second. And the Wareham Gatemen and the Chatham Anglers are in pregame currently.
Thank you for that. So the new arm on the mound out of Clemson. Got a funky little release, a little sidewinder. Those are fun to look at in the box, fun to pitch with, I will say, in the video game. What do you got for us on Rocco Reed?
Yeah, I don't think it's the most fun in the box. I think the hitters may have a little bit different thought on seeing that, especially the left-hand pitcher. But it was a rough outing for Rocco Reed in his first outing with the Whitecaps. 2 2/3 innings pitch, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and 3 walks in a 10-10 tie against Chatham.
Fastball up here to Nate Humphreys, who steps back in the box. He grounded into a double play back in the second. And then a routine 6-3 ground ball out back in the 5th. Just his second appearance here on the young season. He was part of the many players dumped into Falmouth here as there's been some roster turnover. The 2-0. First pitch here swinging that he got a strike. This one eats up Austin at second. Humphreys is going to be safe. You can rule that one an E4. They haven't been pretty the way the Doors have gotten on base, but you'll take them nonetheless.
You will, especially a leadoff base runner. This is the first time since the first inning that the Commodores have had the leadoff man aboard against Brewster. And at this point in the game, you're just trying to scrap across the run any way you can.
Well said. And now, as we look at the big screen, they're going to call that a hit. I don't know about that one, as now Martin's laying down a bunt. This one eats up Rocco Reed. He still makes the play over to first. That's a 1-3 putout. That'll advance Humphreys to second. Small ball here working out for the Doors. And I don't know, partner. I think going back to that previous note, some of these games have gotten rescored after we've left. I might leave that one on my card the way we thought it was, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how they do it. But as of now, it's a hit. And Nathan Humphreys will take it. I don't know that I love the sac bunt there. You move the runner into scoring position, which you really want, but you give away an out in a game when you haven't been having that great of swings.
First pitch here, swinging is Keelan. It's a chopper. Diving in on the grass is Green. A running throw. He'll make the play. A tough 6-3 there. Shortstop on shortstop crime right there.
And now there's 2 away. And so you got that runner to third base, but now you're going to need either a clean hit from Tracy or a ball to the backstop or something to allow that runner to come in here with 2 away and avoid stranding him at third base.
Casey Hunt is getting loose for the Commodores. With Telfer rolling right now, we could see him at some point, or Telfer might just keep going, but Hunt is getting ready. Breaking ball in here to tap Tracy, and he's hit by it. So now they're on the corners with 2 outs. And again, a very funny way for this all to kind of work out the way it is, but the Doors have them on the corners with 2 out.
Well, and honestly, with the way that was going, had Tracy been able to get out of the way of that, that pitch may have gone to the backstop because that would have been a really tough play for Leach to get to it. But Tracy will take his chances aboard, and here comes the meeting.
There is a mound visit being had. The entire infield will join in on the conversation. Prior to that mound visit, the corner infielders were in on the grass. Middle infield, obviously up the middle. There are 2 out, though. So you really just, you think the play's first here. There is a force out at second. But I think because of all the different scenarios, this is kind of a what? Just here's how it could go?
Yeah, and also a potential scenario with a potential attempt for a double steal. Here late in the game, you're just trying to scrap a run across. You may try to send Tracy and hold him up, see if he can get in a rundown, and then see if Humphreys will score or whether Leach is going to throw down to second base. You would think he would. He gunned out Tab Tracy earlier on a good jump from Tracy, but Leach has a rocket behind the plate.
Interesting scenarios, and they're only that much more interesting because of the leverage of this point of the game. The first pitch here on to Redfield. He leaves it downstairs for a ball. Rocco Reed has gotten a couple ground ball outs here in the inning, but hasn't been all that consistent. They're on the corners for the Doors, threatening here in the 8th. The pitch on the way, fastball in there for a strike. Redfield seeing it in there, eyeing it down the whole way. A base hit would give Falmouth the lead. We'll keep an eye on Tab Tracy to see what he does over at first base. Extending his primary lead, he'll stay put. This one's on the ground towards the hole. That'll get through in the 6 hole, and the Doors take the lead on a routine base hit from Redfield, and it takes the 8th inning, but the first run of the ball game goes the way of the Doors.
And the first hit, well, actually the second because of the Humphreys ground ball, but the first real hit to the outfield for Falmouth since that second inning. Coming through in a huge spot, Joe Redfield. What a way to make your debut here for Falmouth.
According to the scoreboard, all this has happened on only 1 hit. You and I would think no hits, but nonetheless, the Doors have found a way to make it work. Getting to Rocco Reed here in the 8th, still 2 gone. Redfield, one of the new Doors in the lineup, comes up big in his 4th at-bat of the game, and that'll bring in Kyle DeBarge. We talked about what he's done at third base, a plentiful amount of Gold Glove plays over there. Can he come up big with the bat in his hand from the right-handed batter's box? A look from Reed. He drops in the slider, belt high, and it's 0-2 to the Commodores' third baseman. Went with the breaking ball there to make it 0-2. Reed's got that funny arm slot we talked about. The sidewinder comes set. He'll look back to second where Tab Tracy is. The pitch on the way. That's a fastball away. Dylan Leach liked the pitch there. He gave a point back to his southpaw on the mound.
Yeah, it's got good jump out of the hand there of Reed. He's been pretty solid. He's gotten a lot of soft contact so far in this inning, but the 2 hits for Falmouth and that run across.
Coming set again, a look back at Tracy, who's dancing at second. The pitch on the way is on the ground to the first baseman. He'll routine play it, and Tibbetts will tap on the bag by himself, but not before the Commodores score the first run of the ball game. Joe Redfield with a base hit on the ground by the shortstop in through the left field grass, and that brings in the first run of the game. Now Falmouth's got to hold it defensively. We'll see who's coming in. Will it be Casey Hunt out of the pen or still Shane Telfer? We'll let you know on the other side of the break on the Commodores Radio Network. There is a new Commodore on the mound. It's Casey Hunt. He's turned into that makeshift closer role. We saw him in the win, the only win of the season for Falmouth on the road at Harwich. He comes in here to try and shut the door in the 8th.
Yeah, he's looking for a 6-out save here. Had the 9-out save against Harwich. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 7 punch-outs out of his 9 outs. He's got electric stuff on the mound. We'll see if the righty can get it done for Falmouth. Just 6 outs away now after that RBI single in the top half of this inning.
It is 1-0 for the visiting Falmouth Commodores. If you're just tuning in, Matt Venezia, Zach Surdenik, and Destiny Sanchez, among others, have brought it to you here from Stony Brook Field. Casey Hunt, the right-hander out of Mississippi State, takes the hill, and he fires in a laser from the windup for a strike. The battery of Mississippi State out there now once again with Ross Highfill, the everyday catcher over there in Jackson and Stark Vegas. He's back there for Casey Hunt today. Drops the breaking ball in here for a swinging foul ball strike.
And Casey on a very different look than what was just seen by these Brewster hitters from Shane Telfer, who's a shorter left-handed pitcher. And then you've got the big, tall righty and Casey Hunt with that electric fastball.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. He could go to it here if he wants. He drops it in the dirt. That's a nice block behind the plate by Ross Highfill. Good tempting pitch there to James Tibbs, who is 0 for 3 on the day. 6 hits for the hometown Brewster Whitecaps, only 3 for Falmouth. But they do have the only run of the ball game in the previous inning. The pitch on the way, fastball up, stays there. Good take by Tibbs in the box. 2-2.
And Hunt had a few longer counts in that last outing, but was able to finish off hitters pretty well. We'll see if he can keep that going today.
A shake by the right-hander. He comes set waist high, and the pitch on the way. It's driven on the ground. Condon will make the play in foul territory.
He looked a little annoyed about that one. He thought that might have been fair, but it was tight, and we obviously don't have the best angle from this spot, but it's fortunate for Tibbs at the plate that that one's got just foul.
A long walk back for Hunt to the mound. He ran over to cover for what the Commodores were hoping would have been a 3-1 putout. But over at first base, Tom Ryberg saying that one was foul by a matter of inches. The pitch, swing, and a miss. Goes with the fastball on the 2-2. It's another strikeout for Casey Hunt. He's up to 8 in only a handful of innings pitched for the Commodores this season.
You guys recorded 11 outs so far, 8 of them by way of the strikeout. That'll play at any point.
He has been phenomenal. Was talking to Casey a little bit yesterday. Said he started the year as a starter, then he moved to the bullpen. And now showing up here for the Commodores in this Cape League season. The pitch on the way. This one's a fly ball out to center. Coming on in, the play will be made by Redfield, who tracks it. He'll make the play. 2 gone for the Doors here defensively.
Casey Hunt just continuing to cruise on the mound. Just looks so calm out there. And that's really been his demeanor all throughout the summer so far. We've gotten to know him a little bit, and just always so chill.
He's just been calm, cool, and collected so far out there. Really liked what he's had up to this point in the year. Now step in against Ike Irish. Fastball on the inner half. Irish stepped down as it came in, and that one was still in there for a strike.
Got some zip on it out of that right hand.
Hunt sitting mid to upper 90s on that heater. He throws it here, laying out, trying to make the play was DeBarge. I think jumps over his glove pretty aggressively. Only the 4th base hit. Hunt's given up in now 3 2/3 innings pitched, and it's a 2-out base runner. The tying run is aboard with the go-ahead run in the box for Brewster.
It's a good swing from Irish. The Auburn Tiger getting the best of the Bulldog on the mound there, but still nothing hurt. 2 down. It's 1 out away from getting the bats back to the plate for the 9th.
Hunt now has to work a little bit more quickly with a base runner to worry about. His breaking ball in the dirt taken there for a ball. Brock Tibbetts, a base hit back in the 4th. He walked his last time. That was back in the 6th inning. Hunt adjusting himself on the mound, and now he goes from the stretch. This one's popped up a mile into the air. It's on the infield. Calling off Hunt is Condon. He'll step in and make the play. The Commodores evade the 2-out walk and get through the 8th inning, still with a 0 next to the line of Brewster. We're going to the 9th inning. Falmouth, last chance for insurance. Let's see what they can do with that opportunity on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Ready for the ninth inning. Rocco Reed out of Clemson still out there. Rocco will take on the big right-handed bat for Falmouth, Charlie Condon. The pitch on the way from Rocco Reed, a fastball below the knees, inside for a ball. Condon walked back in the fourth. He's got a couple deep fly balls out to right field. He's kept Ferrer busy out there. The 1-0 on the way. This one's hard on the ground on a backhand. Oh my goodness, a terrible hop that ate up Green, and it looked like it hit him in the face on the bounce. He looks to be okay. That will no doubt be a base hit for Condon, who reaches. It's another leadoff base runner for the Commodores.
Yeah, and another game with a hit for Charlie Condon as he continues to stay hot.
The shortstops nowadays, you see them when they're receiving the ground ball, they go low with the baseball, and that one hopped over the glove, caught him square in the face. Austin Green looks to be okay. So now it's Jace Lavalette. He's got a base runner to work with here, left-on-left matchup. A looking strikeout back in the second. He reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth, and a deep fly ball out to center last time up, looking for his first hit as a Commodore. Slider here, bending away from the big lefty in the box. 1-1. Quality chance for the Doors to get some insurance here, leading 1-0 because of the Joe Redfield RBI single back in the eighth. The 1-1, fouled, slicing over the dugout of Brewster along the third base line. And it's now 1-2.
It's got to be tough for a left-handed hitter in general to hit this arm slot from Reed, but especially a big left-handed hitter like Lavalette. He's got to turn the hands really quickly on that inside fastball if it comes.
He's tried to buckle some guys with a breaking ball here. He goes to it here, and this one is driven out to right field, diving and coming on in to make a play. He'll make it out there in right, does Ferrer, and Condon's got to get back. He made the play on the gravel, and that's a long first out.
Lavalette just missed putting that one maybe over the trees out in right field. Just didn't get it cleanly, just off the end of the bat, and it's out number 1.
So now Ross Highfill steps in, right on left advantage here for the catcher of Falmouth. A base hit back in the second. He's 1 for 3 today. Watches that slider from that half arm slot drop in there for a strike down the middle. Highfill can do it. He's reached on base every single game this season, has a long ball to go with that. This one looked like it got Highfill on the inside part of the knee, and ouch. Highfill walking that one off. It was a breaking ball, though, so it definitely doesn't feel good, but it could have hurt a lot more with the fastball.
It could have, but I think that hit him right on the kneecap, and that is really painful. You don't get hit there that often, and that doesn't feel good.
Ross, you can see him wincing over there, standing on the bag. He might be getting some extra time here to gather himself, as holding up his hands for time is our first base umpire, Tom Ryberg. And now Ross looks to be ready to lead off the base. Second and first, 1 away now for the Commodores. Breaking ball in the dirt. A beautiful block there behind the plate. To pick that one was Dylan Leach.
Really nice job keeping it in front of him. That's a big stop there from Leach, because if that ball gets by him, it's second and third with 1 away, and Falmouth really trying to get that insurance run.
It's always risky not dropping and blocking, just going for the pick there, and that's exactly what he did as Nate Humphreys steps in. The 1-0. Humphreys lines this one. It's a chopper. It's going to be a double play. 4-6, and there's the 3. A tough turn given up by the Commodores. And another double play. They've hit into 2 today, and that erases the base paths. The Doors got to hope that 1 run picked up in the 8th is enough, as it's the last chance for the Whitecaps, with Falmouth needing 3 outs for their second win on the season. We'll be right back here on the Commodores Radio Network. Casey Hunt halfway to the 6-out save. He's got 3 more outs to work. It's the bottom part of the order due up for the Whitecaps. Mason White, Patrick Forbes, and then it's flipped over onto the top with Trevor Austin. 3 outs needed for Falmouth, looking for its 2nd win on the year. Unfortunately, still without a win at home at the Gov, but a chance here to pick up win number 2. Casey Hunt set on the mound, fires a fastball in there for a strike, wasting little time getting ahead of Mason White here. White 1 for 3 today, a base hit back in the 4th. Hunt gets a call from his teammate at Mississippi State. The pitch on the way, it's a breaking ball in there on the outer half. Hunt right back to business here, ahead 0-2.
It's what you love to see. You want to get a good start to the 9th inning, trying to finish off White here.
Looking for the first out of the inning. Hunt the pitch. It's a fastball low and in. Good frame job by Highfill. It did look a little low, and it's 1-2.
It did, but Hunt was in the strikeout strut. He was ready for it.
Wanted to do his little walk around the mound that you see so many of the big league pitchers do. The 1-2 looking for it here. This one is just barely chopped at the plate and foul. Nice pitch there to stay alive by Mason White. Rarely do we see a changeup from Casey Hunt. It's really been exclusively those 2 pitches, the fastball and the breaking ball. But when you throw upper 90s and you can slow it down like that, those 2 pitches are plenty.
Especially when you can locate the way he's been able to, and as you mentioned, good mix.
He can drop it anywhere he wants. He's been so good with his command through this early part of his season with Falmouth. The pitch on the way. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not, says Jeff Merzell. The first time I've said his name on the broadcast tonight. All the other umpires have had a workout up to this point.
Yeah, Merzell hasn't had much, mainly because there haven't been that many base runners on that side of the field.
That's true. 2-2 now from Hunt. Fastball cut on foul by White. He's at least earning it up there, getting his money's worth in the box against Casey Hunt, who will step off the mound here and reach for the rosin bag a little bit and now get back up there. Stepping on the rubber, looking for the call from Highfill, and now he comes set. The 2-2 from Hunt. Fastball again, spoiled to the same spot and foul into the trees beyond the first base dugout of the Whitecaps.
It's a really good battle, and a battle that Casey Hunt really needs to win here for Falmouth. You don't want to allow that tying run on the base paths right away. We'll see if Hunt can bear down and get him.
Patrick Forbes waiting on deck. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball chopped right off of Highfill. Those aren't the most fun when they redirect off your chest protector. There's padding there, but it's not meant for the baseball to hit straight on. It still hurts a little bit. And again, the 2-2 will continue on. Hunt trying to win the battle here as he comes set on the rubber with Mason White in the left-hander's batter's box. The pitch on the way. This one is driven out to right field. Camping underneath it is Humphreys, pretty much a few feet in front of the wall. And it's a long first out that took a second to get, and it just barely stayed in the ballpark.
Yeah, that ball off the bat, especially with the wind right now, looked like Mason White might have tied this thing up, but instead it's caught out there and right and one away.
It's almost like a crosswind, kind of. It's from right to left.
Out towards left center.
Breaking ball in there for the strike on the inside part by Casey Hunt, getting right back to that pitch on the inside, as it's a right-hander on right matchup here with Patrick Forbes. 2 for 3 in the day, a couple of base hits. Fires a fastball in there at the knees. That one's a strike as well. And Casey Hunt, again, just works exclusively in those 0-2 counts, it feels like.
He does, and just when you get ahead like that, you're in control of these at-bats.
The 0-2 on the way. Did he go on the breaking ball? No, he did not. That checks down to Tom Ryberg at first. Did look like he held it, but that one was a little bit more convincing than the last check down we saw.
Yeah, it certainly was. That pitch bounced in.
Is set again. The 1-2, and now he'll step off the mound here. Maybe just didn't like what he was thinking there after the agreement from him and Highfill. Again, the 1-2 will come from Hunt on the way. Fastball is driven. It's actually in foul territory along the right side. Does Condon have a play? Yes, he does. To the right of the dugout of Falmouth. And there's one out away, separating the Commodores from their 2nd win on the year.
Gonna have a tough out, though, as Trevor Austin's already been on 3 of 4 times so far for Brewster. Leadoff man trying to keep things alive. Casey Hunt trying to get out of here.
Yeah, well said, partner. 2 for 3 to this point. Had a double last time in the 7th, the one that got away from Redfield. It was ruled a double as this breaking ball is in there for a strike from Hunt. Looking for the sign here from his teammate at Mississippi State, Ross Highfill. He comes set and the leg lift, the pitch. Breaking ball got away from Ross Highfill. A check swing. He did not go, did Trevor Austin, and it's 1-1. Now, while the Commodores are a couple strikes away here, this is the game-tying run in the box. So anything, no matter how close you think you are to it, can change with one swing. A ball and a strike from Hunt. The pitch on the way, a fastball at the knees, did not get the call. That did look a little low. I like the call there behind the plate, 2-1.
Yeah, Highfield tried to bring it up, but just a little bit low. Rick Force hasn't given that pitch much at all today, and even the pitch just a little higher than that still hasn't been given.
2-1 here. Breaking ball drops in there for a strike. And just like that, Casey Hunt and the Commodores are one strike away from their second victory on the season. Looking to take down the East Division leader in Brewster here tonight on the road. Hunt comes set from the stretch. The leg kick and the pitch. Breaking ball dropped off a table. A nice stay there in the box. And it's a full count offering on the way here to Trevor Austin.
Casey Hunt couldn't let us get out of here without a little suspense.
There always is in this game, and we'll try the full count pitch once again. The leg kick and the offering. This one's on the ground, making a play as DeBarge. He's got the throw in time to Condon, and the Commodores find a way to win. They were out hit the entire way, Zach, but it's Falmouth that finds a way to win. Only one run was needed, and a pitching performance for the ages from this group. They shut out the Whitecaps here on the road, 1-0 the final here in Brewster.
Found a way to win one when the bats weren't going, the pitching outstanding. And you can't say much more than that, a 1-0 win, and you'll take it 2 hours and 10 minutes and back to Falmouth with a victory.
Save the second in as many tries for Casey Hunt, who continues to impress on the mound. My goodness, what an effort from this staff that got hit around yesterday, or excuse me, actually 2 days ago in Hyannis, but a good response. The Commodores improved to 2-3-1. The Whitecaps fall to 3-2-1. And with that, we'll bring in Destiny Sanchez for a report after a great hard-earned win for Falmouth.
Thanks, Matt. This was definitely a pitcher's game here in Brewster, but what we were able to see from the Doors tonight is a glimpse at their attempt to begin to push for that lead and then maintaining that lead. Like I mentioned in opening the door, our pregame show, what I've been wanting to see from the Doors, we got to see a little bit of a start of that tonight, and then Casey Hunt tying the ribbon on the game. Overall, a complete effort from the Doors here in Brewster.
Casey Hunt, a tremendous effort here in 2 innings of work. Gave up a hit back in the 8th with 2 outs. But other than that, he's faced 7 batters, retired 6 of them the way he wanted to. No threat in the 9th inning, and that's how they should be when you've got a power arm like Hunt on the mound to close out the ballgame, Zach.
Just found a way. Really good stuff on every aspect defensively for the Doors, and just found a way to get it done.
So Falmouth improves to 2-3-1 as we talked about. Tomorrow, the Doors are back at the Gov taking on Wareham. Now, for anyone local to the area, looking at the radar gun and the weather report, there's going to be a lot of rain like we had in Hyannis the other day. So
we'll see how it goes.
We are expecting to be there and have a ball game for you, but that could all depend on Mother Nature. And right now, the odds are not looking like they're in our favor. And should that be the case, the game will most likely be moved to the off day we have next Wednesday. And if that were the case, it'd be a stretch of, I believe, what, 8 games in a row? 9. Even better.
Depends on how you look at it.
Even better on how you look at it.
We love doing at it. So, you know, we're just glad you guys joined us here. It's been a lot of fun, and back at it tomorrow, hopefully.
Well said, partner. A great old-fashioned pitchers duel here on the road in Brewster, about an hour east of Falmouth. The Commodores go 1-4-0. The hometown Brewsters go 0-7-0. That's the line, and it's Falmouth that finds a way to get the win. It's been a pleasure to carry the broadcast for you here on the radio waves on our radio network. For Destiny Sanchez with the reports, Zach Surdenik and myself, Matt Venezia, among others who have helped put this thing together, we say so long from Brewster, and we will see you tomorrow when the Commodores take on the Gatemen right here on the Commodores YouTube channel. Good night, everyone, from Brewster, Massachusetts.